And why did you decide to come here?
Right. It was a lot that went into my decision. Obviously, Coach Knowles being here, that helped a lot. Obviously, I know his system. I know what he likes to do. I was comfortable in his system. I had some success. So I was granted one more year, because of COVID. My decision originally was, I was going to declare for the draft, but I felt like, one more year in college could help me develop it. If I was going to do one more year, I wanted to do it, kind of at the highest level and, like Ohio State. So when Coach Knowles got the job, when I entered the portal, he was one of the first ones to call. So he let me know that he wanted me to come, and, I kind of let him know. That's what I'm thinking about. Obviously, I had a lot of other schools, like in the SEC and also in the Big Ten and Big 12 and other schools. But like I said, I knew his system. I know what he liked to do. So I was comfortable in it. So I wanted to, try to help Coach Knowles, build this defense back to what, it used to be, and be a part of BIA. So
how would you describe what he tries to do on defense? What will fans see in this defense that makes his defense kind of unique?
Right. It's going to be aggressive. I mean, he likes to play aggressive, call aggressive calls. He kind of likes to be a offensive coordinator on defense, kind of. A lot of defenses react to what the offense likes to do. I think Coach Knowles wants them to react to what we like to do. So that's kind of what I like about it. We're going to get in their face. We're going to send pressure. We're going to have fun back in the back end. And, I think he just likes to cause confusion. And he does a good job with that, causing confusion for the quarterback. So I think you guys are just going to see an aggressive defense. So I'm looking forward to that.
Tanner said the other day that he was even a little surprised to see that you were in the portal. He thought you were headed off to the NFL.
Yeah.
What did you feel like you still need to accomplish as a college player to make that step?
Right. I think, obviously you get draft grades back, and, I didn't like some of my draft grades. So I think me as a player, I can make a lot more plays on the ball. I mean, I've had my PBUs, but I only have like one career interception. So that's one thing I want to, try to get some more interceptions. But also, I want to try to win a national championship. So that's something that we were close to doing at Oklahoma State. We were one game short away from, trying to get into that college football playoff. So I think, being here, just being around the guys, it's a great group of guys that is here at Ohio State, and I'm glad to be a part of it. So I think we can, really get a shot at this national championship, and I'm looking forward to, getting rolling with the guys during spring.
It seems like Jim Knowles is kind of is known for kind of cultivating community around defense.
Yeah.
And I'm curious, from your perspective, seeing kind of that process of him. He talked about how he kept you guys involved at Oklahoma State in terms of what his next steps were. Right. What was that like for you when he went through that, and when you decided to eventually kind of join his community again?
Right. Yeah. So towards the end of the season, I mean, it was obvious it was his contract year. He was either going to stay there or somebody was going to come and get him. So we obviously as players we're like, hey, what are you going to do? And a lot of coaches can just kind of keep everything to themselves, but he was pretty open about it. He was like, if somebody calls me, I'll let y'all know. If somebody offers me more money, I'm gonna let you guys know. So just having that relationship with your defensive coordinator it really meant a lot for us. Being at Oklahoma State when we were up there, it meant a lot. Let us know that he really cares about us. He knows that as football players, coaching is pretty important. So that would affect our careers too. So he took that into play, and he was transparent with us. So that obviously helped my decision too. When he let me know that he was probably going to take this here at his offer here at Ohio State. It kind of went to my head like, man, I would love to go play there with him. You know what I mean? So that kind of went to my decision to go into the portals as well.
Well, he said you were also going to be used as kind of a coach in the backfield.
Right.
The next example, explaining the defense in ways that maybe he couldn't.
Right.
How important, is that a role that you want to take on, that leadership role? Because it seems like a lot immediately for a new player.
Yeah. It's kind of, like I said, when I was a part of his defense at Oklahoma State, that's kind of what I did. Yeah. We had some guys that had been a part of the system for a while. So, being at Oklahoma State, I was kind of a coach in the back end already. So, coming here, being asked to do that, it's kind of a smooth transition, because that's something I've already done. So, I look forward to helping the guys in any way. They've already, been asking me questions, about Coach Knowles and about the defense, and I've been transparent with them as well. So, I've already been building good relationships with guys on the defensive side and the offensive side. So, I think getting into the spring and competing with them is going to be fun.
How have they responded, to what you've told them?
Right. I think they like. A lot of the guys, I I haven't been here obviously, but I guess they've been through a lot of coaching changes already. So it's nothing new to them having to learn a new system, I guess. So they've been a part of a lot of different defensive systems, so they just kind of want to know, the basics. What does he like to run? So I think they're kind of just excited to get around the coaches. Now that they're all back, I think they're just excited to get around the coaches and get a feel for them. And see who's going to be coaching them for the next 10, 11 months.
But Tanner, you bring the experience, having worked with Coach Knowles on that side and been in that program for several years. But now, what have you done to learn Ohio State?
Right.
You watched the games from this past year.
Right.
What have you learned? And also, to double back on that, what did you see that maybe wasn't great here on defense a year ago? What did you see that concerned you?
Right. I think one thing, obviously I watched the tape, when I was in the portal, doing my research and things like that. But one thing I did see is there was a lot of great players here. I mean, there's great pieces. I wasn't here, so I don't know why. I guess the defense wasn't as successful as they wanted to be. But the players, I don't think that was the problem. I mean, they have really good athletes here, really good players. I think, Coach knows what he's planning on doing. He's going to evaluate who he has here, evaluate the strengths and weaknesses of the players that are here and see where he can best use them, and that's kind of what he did when we were at Oklahoma State, and I'm sure that's what he's going to do here. So just watching the tape, all I can really say is, we got great players, and I think Coach knows he's going to put them in the best situation to be successful.
Building on that, it seems like in his defense, he likes flexible. He likes guys that can be multiple positions.
Right.
I'm guessing you probably see that in some of the athletes. Yeah,
for sure. There's a lot of guys that I see can do different things. Different body types, different styles of play. Coach Knowles has, even my position. My position is kind of a versatile position, covering and even sometimes fitting in the box. And then there's a Leo position he has on the D line that's pretty flexible. I mean, he likes guys that can do different things because the offense is going to try to throw different looks at you. So we got to be able to throw different looks at them as well. So I think like I said, he's going to evaluate what he has and try to use it to the best of his ability.
Who's a guy you've seen on video you think could fit that Leo position? Who's a guy that's jumped out at you? Maybe you know his name, maybe you know his number.
I've been working close with Stover, K. Stover.
Yeah.
So I'll have to say him for right now, just because I've been working with him in the weight room and things like that. He seems like a guy that's gritty and likes to get after guys. So I can see him doing something like that. Like I said, I'm not the coach, so I don't know what he's going to do, but I guess I can give you that.
But Tanner, you've been on the back end of that defense. I mean, you've also watched video of games after games and stuff. What does that Leo really upset offenses? I mean, the way he moves them around, A gap 1 minute, edge the next, dropping in the zone. I mean, what just stands out about that spot? And how do you see it kind of fitting in here?
Right. I think it's just it's versatile, and it's like a splash play position. We had two guys play it when we were at Oklahoma State. One was a freshman All-American, and one was first team All-Big 12. And both of them split time, and both of them obviously had success. I think one of them had like 11 sacks, the other one had 9 or 10. So they're just splash players. And as a defensive back, I want them to get pressure on the quarterback. So, anything Coach Knowles wants to do to get pressure on the quarterback, I'm cool with. So.
Can you see in a play, though, as you're sitting back there on the backside, can you see in a play Leo having an effect on that immediate play? Where does it kind of show up? Do you see it in the quarterback's eyes? I mean, do you see it, you know what I mean? Do you hear shouting going on the other side?
Yeah, I think, a quarterback, his job is to, check the front, make sure everybody's blocked up. But, if you got a guy moving around, you don't know where he's going to land. So it's kind of hard to, check your front to make sure, everybody's blocked if, there's a guy moving around. So I think that's probably where the confusion comes in. He lines up in different spots, he moves around. So, it's hard to check a front, when the guy's always moving. So that's probably what I'd say.
I asked Coach Walton here yesterday, the other day, I said, what stood out first time you met Coach Knowles? What stood out about most? He says his intelligence.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, do you agree with that? I mean, is he on another level in that regard?
Yeah.
How does it show up, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, he's an Ivy League guy, so obviously you gotta have some brains to, be in the Ivy League. So, that's kind of one of the first impressions I had, too, when I was at Oklahoma State. He's really deliberate in what he wants to do. And, sometimes he tries to explain things to us, and, we're not kind of on his level as far as intelligence. So when he's explaining it, I'm like, man, can you dumb it down for me, you know what I mean? So, he's a pretty smart guy. We called him a mad scientist up there just because kind of like how he likes to explain his defenses, and he likes to have a look for everything the offense can throw at you. So,
Tanner, what are your first impressions of your new secondary coaches here?
Good. You know, I met Coach E and Coach Walt. Both of them, you know, great experience with great players. Coach E was at Cincinnati. You know, had 2 really good corners that he just produced this year. Probably both going to be draftable guys, first-round guys. And then, you know, you got Coach Walt, who has experience playing here and experience in the NFL with guys like Jalen Ramsey. So I think for me, you know, come back for 1 more year, being able to get developed under those 2 coaches is going to be fun.
With Gary specifically, obviously, Jim said you need to explain the defense to the players.
Yeah.
Is that something that you need to, or like he's expecting you to kind of bring the coaches along too because there's difference, or what is that like?
Right. I mean, I don't know about coaches just because, you know, I think the coaches, I mean, they're smart too. I mean, you know, they've been around the game, so I think Coach Knowles is going to do a good job explaining to those guys. I think maybe one thing I can do is kind of, from a player standpoint, having, you know, did some of the things that he's going to ask them to do, I can kind of break it down, you know, the techniques that he wants to use, things like that to the players.
What's your impression of the safety room? You've got a tremendous player in Josh coming back from surgery. You had a tremendous player in the Rose Bowl break the leg.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you got some guys that are still trying to get right to get back.
Yeah.
So when you forecast to the fall, what do you see that safety room looking like?
Yeah, it's a lot of guys that can play ball back there. Like you said, Josh, you know, he got injured. Lathan, you know, worked with those guys. He got injured as well. And then, you know, it's safeties like Court and, you know, Rocket, Ronnie Hickman, and, you know, even Cam Martinez. You know, I've been around a lot of those guys, and we've worked out together, obviously, and got some work in together. But I think versatile is how I explain that room. You know, we got some guys that look like linebackers, but, you know, can move like a safety or move like a corner. So that's really good, you know, to be versatile back there. So I think we got a lot of guys back there that can play a lot of different positions. So, you know, obviously we got to get in the spring and, you know, get in the fall and see where the chips land and see where everybody wants to play. So I think, like I said, it's going to be Coach Knowles' job to evaluate talent and, you know, see where everybody, you know, lands as far as position-wise.
With those 3 safety spots, does everybody kind of have to know, is everybody supposed to know what the other guy is doing, or do you concentrate on your spot mostly, or how does that work? I know there's only so much time in the game.
Yeah. So I was in his system for a while, so obviously I played pretty much all 3 positions back there. So being a player in a 3 safety system, you know, a 5 DB system, you know, it's probably best that you try to learn the other positions as well, because that'll give you a better understanding of what you're doing as well. You know, if you know what the guy next to you is doing, it's going to give you a better understanding of what you're doing as well. So that's the goal, obviously, is to get all 3 guys on one accord. Everybody knows what everybody's doing, you know, even the corners as well. So that's obviously the goal, and obviously it's going to take time to do that. Go ahead.
Well, he acknowledged it took 4 years to really maximize everything at Oklahoma State. How do you accelerate that here? Obviously, you might be the best you might know better than anyone.
Right. I think he's doing a good job right now. I mean, obviously me deciding to come here, it's cool that he has, you know, somebody that's playing the system, and then he's brought some, you know, GAs that knows the system, you know, some assistant coaches that knows the system. So I think that's one thing, you know, that he didn't have at Oklahoma State. You know, he came by himself, you know, teaching everybody in the building what he wants to do. So it took time. But, you know, now he has guys here that know what he wants to do, so we can get things going, you know, from day 1 to spring ball. So I think that'll accelerate the process.
What's the first thing a guy needs to learn? Any of those safeties?
Probably just alignment. I mean, that's the first thing. You know, there's different calls, and different calls for different alignments. So he's a big disguise guy. You know, he likes to like confuse the quarterback, obviously. So he's big with disguises and you know, being aggressive. So I think the first thing, you know, anybody should learn is just the alignment for whenever he throws a call out. Where do I need to be lined up? I mean, that's the first thing. So
I know there's a wider variety of offenses in the Big 12 than there used to be. It's not just everybody throwing around.
Yeah, exactly.
So was there a lot of variance, you know, for you guys? To meet what the other team was doing? A heavier team?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, in the Big 12, you know, they kind of almost turned into like a Big 10 type of conference, you know, using a lot of 12 personnel. 13 like Baylor, you know, they had 2 really good running backs. They used a lot of 12 and 13 personnel, just using the running backs they had. So, and then you also, you know, you play Texas Tech where they're going to spread it out and throw it 90% of the game. So, Coach Knowles did a really good job in, you know, diversifying his defense. You know, we have different packages where, you know, you may bring in an extra linebacker. I may come out. The nickel comes out. You bring an extra linebacker, or you bring an extra DB and one of the linemen come out, and now you're playing with 6 DBs, you know. So he has a lot of different packages for a lot of different looks, and I think you guys are going to see that, and a lot of guys are going to get to play, so that's going to be cool.
What was that conversation like when you go in the portal and he reaches out to you?
You know, we had a relationship, so I think the first thing he said was like, you know, I want you to come here, right? And I was like, yes, sir. I mean, I'm sure that's why you call in. So, you know, the conversation was kind of more business. It was like, man, like this, he wants what's best for me. So, if I didn't want to come, then he wasn't going to push it. So he was like, man, if you want to come here, you know, I want you to be here. I think we can win a national championship. You know, you be new, I be new, but you know, we both know what we're doing. So. I think that was kind of our conversation. You know, he just wanted what was best for me, and he felt like Ohio State was what was best for me, and I felt the same. So,
Once he calls you, how many other schools are you still considering?
Yeah, LSU was a big school I was considering. They brought in a new staff, and you know, I liked our conversations that I had with them. Florida, you know, Penn State. Yeah, those are probably the schools I was considering, you know, while I was in the portal. You know, I had, you know, Notre Dame as well, but, you know, I had a lot of offers, but, you know, kind of when you get in the portal, you know, I'm an older guy, so it's not like you're in high school. You just kind of get a couple schools that you would consider and, you know, just talk with those guys and, you know, see what you want to do. And I ended up coming to Ohio State, so I think it was a good decision for me.
He said that, we were talking the other day, that pretty much right away you got guys together and started showing and stuff. How did that process work? How did you reach out to guys and what were you doing?
I think really it was them reaching out to me, to be honest. I mean, yeah, those guys, obviously there's some older guys in there, some young guys, you know, and they want to know. So, you know, when I first got here, you know, I'm working out with the guys, and you know, all our relationships, you know, we instantly click just because we know we all have one goal, win a national championship, you know, try to play, you know, in the NFL, things like that. So, you know, they were kind of like, hey, what's Coach Knowles like? You know, what's his defense like? And I was like, you know, I can show you, I can explain it. So, you know, we kind of came out here and did some, you know, some footwork on the field, and you know, we talked about, you know, what he likes to do, and I think they like what they heard from me. And I'm sure they'll like what they hear from Coach Knowles, just how they can be used in different ways.
He said yesterday.
You came here to be a coach, though. You came here to play football, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. I'm definitely came here to play. So I mean, obviously, you got to compete. You know, I'm at Ohio State, so it's gonna be, you know, competition here. But you know, I took that into play before I came here. I know what I can do on the field. You know, in his system. You know, I know where I can play in his system. So I'm just gonna come here and show it in the spring, and you know, get with the guys, and I definitely came here to be a football player. But I think, you know, if the goal is to win a national championship, then you got to get everybody on one accord. So I think I can help with that.
He said on Monday he can be kind of gruff.
Oh yeah.
What's your maybe you can help translate him to some of the guys, or is that old school? How do people take that?
Right. I mean, he's from Philadelphia. I ain't never been from Philly. I never been to Philly, so I don't know if that's just a Philly thing. But he can be aggressive at times. You know, he can yell. You know, he's a kind of a quirky guy. You know what I mean? But you know, some people may take it wrong. You know, I remember when I first was getting coached by him, you know, some of the comments and some of the, you know, things he was saying, I was like, why is he yelling so much? But I just came to realize, man, that's just how he is. And he doesn't mean any harm by it. You know, he just wants, you know, his defense ran right. So, you know, some guys, you know, if he's yelling, you know, guys react different. So I think I can kind of just, you know, tell him like that's just how he is. Like, don't take it to heart, pretty much. That's what I came to learn. But I mean, he doesn't mean any harm. But I mean, he's gonna yell just like any other coach.
He mentioned on Monday that during his like teaching presentations, he uses like a game show style.
Oh yeah.
What can you like tell us about that?
Yeah, man, it's fun. It's like a fun way to learn. You know what I mean? And it's competition as well. So you know, he'll have game shows. You know. And it's by position. So, you know, you competing against the D-line, DB's competing against the D-line competing against the linebackers, and it's just all about the knowledge of the defense. So it may be a question, say, hey, what do you have in this call? And you got 10 seconds to answer, and you gotta know it. Or it may be Pictionary, where you're drawing up defenses, and you gotta, you know, say the word, other guy has his back turned, just stuff like that. It's a fun way to learn, kind of. So, and it's competitive, so it's fun.
How does he kind of host that? You mentioned